Afterwards, I began cutting down the necessary wood to craft dolls and evolve the dryads into Dryas doll dryads. Unlike their original counterparts, these Dryas doll dryads could wield their true strength, even when they were far from their roots. No one was against the idea of evolving, either. And so, the number of Dryas doll dryads we had increased to nearly 10. They didn't have any combat experience, and none of them was stronger than Trainee-san. However, they had plenty of opportunities to train in the labyrinth. In the near foreseeable future, they would surely become capable servants of Rammers. In addition, the bodies that I wanted to lend to the Treants, or rather, the humanoid dolls, were also near completion. These bodies were only being used for possession, so it didn't really matter whether they were strong or not. There were no issues with compatibility either. With this, around 100 plus several dozen Treants would be able to roam inside the labyrinth. I regretted the fact that we didn't start recruitment much earlier. We would have secured a considerable number of capable people from the start. The Dryads were mostly in female forms, while the Treants were mostly male. Since they were spirits, they didn't seem to have specific genders. That was why I focused more on efficiency when crafting the dolls. The Treants could modify the details to suit their own tastes when they possessed them. Once we were finished, they began the transfer almost immediately. With some minor work here and there, the operation was finally complete. Now, with all the new helpers, we wouldn't be that busy anymore. Thank you, Rimuru-sama. I shook my head as I heard Trainee-san thanking me. This was really nothing. I had always wanted to express my gratitude for all the help they provided. Well then, I'll be counting on you guys in the future as well. Rammers, report to me if anything happens. Roger that. I'll fly straight away to inform you. I told her to notify me should any problems arise. There was still some work at hand for me to do. For one, I had to attend daily meetings with Rigard and Meyermiles to make executive decisions. Even criminal trials required my verdict now. It was also my duty to mediate disputes between my lieutenants. I genuinely wanted to help out with the research here, but reality often intervened. I desperately needed to scout some talent that would alleviate my workload. That was my task at hand. I could still find time for my hobbies since I technically didn't require sleep, but sometimes you just want to slack off for a bit, you know. And I thought I was all mouth and no trousers, but it looked like I was really diligent after all. While feeling a sense of doubt towards this statement, I headed back to my office. Diablo-sama has returned with some strangers. He wishes to see you. What should we do? The long-awaited news had finally arrived. Now if it were only Diablo, then he would have just casually strolled in. However, he had guests with him this time. Although I felt that it was troublesome to do this, since there were other people around, I decided we should go through with the standard procedure. Let me see them right now before Benimaru catches wind of this and wants to greet them together. I shall meet them in the reception room. Summon them immediately. The attendant bowed respectfully before leaving. Her movements were rather stiff. She must have felt very nervous around me. I thought to myself, this really can't be helped, before asking the other attendant waiting next door to prepare some tea. Shuna was busy with her work. During the day, she would labor at some other venue, though she would always prepare meals for me in the evening. Shion, on the other hand, was training the Yamagari inside the labyrinth. She seemed to be examining just how difficult it was to kill them, and thus was conducting extremely rigorous training. I heard that they were currently residing in the lower levels, so I shouldn't bother them if nothing important came up. This was why I had two attendants serving me now. Even though they were goblinas that had evolved from goblins, they were indistinguishable from humans. Recently, some simple cosmetic items that Shuna had developed were growing popular as well. This was probably why our female citizens were becoming ever more beautiful. Had I not been their master, they'd probably be top-tier servants who wouldn't even break a sweat when confronted with foreign dignitaries. Their skills were masterful. I began moving towards the reception room, the sturdy one, by the way. Despite the fact that I figured nothing would go wrong, it was always better safe than sorry. Speaking of which, I had no clue just how weird the subordinates chosen by Diablo would be. When I entered the guest room, the attendants brought out tea and desserts. The preparation was flawless. As I thought so, someone approached the room. Rimuru-sama, I have returned. With a happy smile, Diablo also entered. Though I shouldn't be saying this, Diablo's smile looked extraordinarily evil. While I may not have seen it that way, other people would probably have considered his smile as a bad omen. He was emanating an evil aura as if he were up to no good. Today, I have brought the people I had hoped to show to Rimuru-sama. I couldn't be happier if your grace wished to meet them. Like usual, Diablo greeted me with the utmost respect. It was to the point of being excessive, but I was getting used to it by now. This guy treated me like his one and only master, almost like a god. 3 females followed Diablo in. He told me that he was looking for subordinates, so were these women the ones? They appeared to be rather young. However, age was irrelevant to demons. I had no idea how many years Diablo had lived through, but since he said that they were his old acquaintances, they had probably been alive for quite some time. Urged by Diablo, the three women bowed to me and seated themselves on the sofa. Are these girls your old friends? They don't look particularly strong. Negative. These three are the highest race among the demons archdemons. It is suspected that these individuals are concealing their magic heals perfectly and are mimicking a human being. Raphael was quick to comment and correct my misunderstanding. Lately, my appraisal had become more accurate, but it seemed that I still had room for improvement. After hearing Raphael's words, I tried to raise the precision of magic perception. Yet, no matter how hard I looked, they resembled ordinary humans. Did you just say archdemon? Compared to a greater demon summoning, the chances of calling an archdemon was next to impossible. After all, one archdemon would already be a strategic force to be reckoned with. Sometimes, a summon would fail even after great sacrifices. If humans were to summon them, they would have to prepare a huge ritual at the national level. And right here in front of me were three archdemons. I should have guessed, considering that Diablo used to be one as well. Indeed. I thought only people at my level would be worthy to meet Rimuru-sama in this place, Diablo proudly stated. Is that so? They are truly impressive to have blended in like that. In fact, they all seem like normal humans. Perhaps even the Holy Knights wouldn't be able to tell that they were archdemons. My words shook the three a bit. Diablo laughed happily in response. Kufufufufu, as expected from Rimuru-sama. I told them to try their best to hide their race, yet you saw through it with such ease. Seeing Diablo's reaction, I nodded pompously and replied, I guess. This was actually all thanks to Raphael-san. And the others. Only 7 were worthy. Yeesh. This guy was a bit too harsh. I already prepared 1,000 bodies for you, and in the end, you gave me less than 10. With that being said, the Treants already used more than 100 of them, so this might have worked in our favor. And the remaining are small fry. However, they are the subordinates of these people, so that's why I considered letting them enjoy the honor of joining Rimuru-sama's ranks. Ah, so there were more. In that case, how many have you brought? To answer that, they will have to report with the details, Diablo concluded. Nice to meet you, Rimuru-sama. I feel greatly ashamed to meet you as a nameless one. I hope to be in your care. I've heard that Moor-chan highly admires you, which, to be honest, was hard for me to believe at first, but now I can see why. Is that so? An alluring lady stood up and greeted me. She had a head of pure white hair. Her movements were refined and elegant, like nobility. She had a dazzling smile, one that radiated warmth and grace. She was nothing like a demon at all. Indeed, my heart started racing the moment I laid eyes on you. I hope that Rimuru-sama will allow me and my 200 subordinates to join your ranks, the white-haired beauty proclaimed with a charming smile. Being praised like that made me blush a little. But thanks to Diablo, I was already conditioned to it. I better take this type of praise as a given from now on and ignore it. Me too, sir. I, along with my 200 servants, wish to follow Rimuru-sama, a purple-haired Bishoho declared energetically. Her side ponytail only further accentuated her appearance, making her look extra cute. She was so cute that I earnestly doubted if she really was a demon, despite what Raphael-san just told me. I don't object either. I, along with my 200 soldiers, pledge my service to Rimuru-sama. A young girl with a head of shining blonde hair announced rather arrogantly. Seeing that a somewhat annoyed Diablo was about to stand up, I reached out my hand to stop him. She seemed to be trying her best to show me the maximum amount of courtesy she could muster. I saw no reason to scold her for that. And so, I greeted everyone here. The 3 ladies and their 200 subordinates each. In total, 600 demons are about to join me, join the ranks of Diablo. He sure is a terrifying guy. I never expected him to prepare an actual army. Kufufufufu, they each have 2 lieutenants, and there was one other person that caught my attention as well. That person has around 100 subordinates of his own. Thus, there are approximately 700 in total. I, originally, was planning to recruit 1,000. I must apologize, I feel tremendously ashamed by my incompetence, Diablo lamented. Oh, no. Don't be so hard on yourself. Let me see them first. So, it's not 600, but 700. That just seems a bit excessive. Oh, thank you so much. Before that, regarding how I recruited them, please allow me to report in detail. Is it going to be long? Yes, very long, in fact. However, this is to inform Rimuru-sama of my exploits. Diablo was ready to start his lengthy brag post. I stopped him immediately. Then never mind. They probably don't want to hear you boasting either, so tell me in the future when the chance arises. Although there wouldn't be any chances like that. Diablo froze up on the spot in shock. Seeing his reaction, the 3 demonesses snickered among themselves. Obviously, they were just as worried about having to sit patiently through Diablo's long and laborious speech. Knowing that my judgment was correct sure was satisfying. I spoke again with a grin. It's inappropriate to let the others wait so long, so do introduce them as well. Yes, sir. Then let us change the venue. Diablo's face was filled with regret. But I wasn't spoiling him this time. I'll admit that Diablo was an outstanding subordinate, but giving him treats like this in front of our new recruits would be a very bad influence. I couldn't let people think that I was endorsing nepotism with him, so he would have to endure it for a bit. And of course, I didn't want to waste time listening to him blabbering on and on, but since these were my genuine thoughts, there was no need to say them out loud. Diablo quickly regained his composure. It was probably because he was a spiritual life form that his spirit was so resilient. Geez, why are my words such a big deal to you? He always took whatever I said a little too seriously. What a fascinating guy. Since summoning all those people in town would be troublesome, let's head to the labyrinth first, Diablo said. On the bright side, he seemed to have matured somewhat. At least now he was a bit more mindful of others. And just when I was about to be impressed by his newfound growth, Diablo quickly dashed my hopes. Kufufufufu, it will ruin the barrier if we gather those guys there. That magic circle was meticulously handcrafted by Rimuru-sama, so I must be extra cautious. You're looking at this the completely wrong way. And just when I got my hopes up to boot. Speaking of which, his words did remind me about something. Here in the capital city of Rimuru, we applied an experimental barrier that encompassed the entire area. It was an improved version of the holy purification barrier, and it could suppress the magicules leaked from monsters. Since many humans were visiting the town, this was created to guarantee their safety. Even though it was slightly burdensome for the monster residents, it wasn't a big enough deal to interfere with their daily lives. As long as they were able to handle it without any issues, we could ensure that the magicule density was maintained at a human-friendly level. Moreover, it would prevent the casting of unauthorized magic, and protect the town from wild monsters. Any monster capable of destroying the barrier had to be, at the very least, special A rank. Otherwise known as a calamity class threat. And even if they weren't, they still wouldn't be able to just destroy it instantly. If anything abnormal were to happen to the barrier, we would notice right away. During that time, the guards would take care of the problem. Speaking of A-rank magic beasts, they weren't a threat if they were non-intelligent. Mindless beasts would be a piece of cake for our elite soldiers. I was just worried that there may be people among the 700 demons who were capable of breaking this important barrier. The three in front of me could easily destroy it, but perhaps there were even more dangerous demons amidst their ranks. Diablo was no slouch when it came to evaluating people. When he said that those 7 were capable, he clearly meant it.